Hello. Hey, how's everyone doing today? I hope you're doing okay. Paul Scatler, hello. Does God have a pair of testicles? Now, how am I supposed to know that? Paul Scatler. God has not been kind enough to show me. So I do not know. But I will happily want to know. Happily. If he's up for showing, if he's up for, for me to come and have a look, I will definitely take front row seat and go and have a good view of what God is packing, what God is what is happening down there. Well, if he has any testicles, but hey. A commandment in Christianity is thou shalt not make an image of God. Many have one anyway, and it's mostly male. Wrongly. An image of God. There were there images of God everywhere. God, well, the only religion, in my opinion, that particularly frowns on having images is Islam. But what you call it? Christianity, all sorts of different images. In fact, give me 1 second. This light's a bit too bright. If I can find the remote. I think that's it. Okay. Right. So I think what was I saying? I was saying something. Lost my train of thought. Never mind. Okay, so before I proceed, I'm dedicating this stream to a very special person. They're not doing too good. It's evening where I am. They're not doing too well, and so I'm hoping if they do watch, that this can put a smile on their face and they can feel a lot better. So yes, you know yourself. This is specially dedicated to you, and I can't wait for you to be 100%. Yeah. Just hang in there and you'll be just fine. I'm here for you. Okay. So how's everyone doing today? I hope you're doing okay. Right, so let's go here. Let's do this. So, guys, did you know that here in the UK, a lot of things are changing when it comes to Christianity here in the UK? Christianity, how it was, how Christianity used to be known years ago. That is completely changing here in the UK. Just whatever you know of Christianity, a lot, it's like a real shift. It is a shift to, gosh, Christianity in the UK is becoming very unrecognizable. And I don't think many of the Christians were prepared for this. They are being forced to evolve. They're being forced to move with the times. Some of them are they are kicking and screaming and saying, no, we don't want this. But look, like it or oh my goodness. It's getting to the point now where other other churches that form this Church of England, the Anglican Church, are starting to look at Great Britain and say, no, 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 no. We are part of you guys, but some of the decisions you're forced to make doesn't align with our beliefs. And so we will have to cut away from you. That's where the church is at right now, the Church of England. First, the population of Christians, right? The numbers are declining at a very, very fast rate. Christianity is declining here in the UK. It's just taking a nosedive. Not only that, before the UK, you could regard. I remember when I first came to the UK. Oh, it's a Christian nation. It was one of the ones that said, "Oh, this is Christian," right? It has, it's founded on Christian values. That cannot be said about the UK anymore because, yeah, my drink fell over. Okay, there are more people who identify as non-religious than there are Christians. That wasn't the case years ago. After the last census shows that there's a huge rise in people who identify as not religious at all. The number of people who identify as Christians, that number it's just declining. And the statistics are saying that in the next 5 to 10 years, that number is is going to probably double. More and more people are starting to leave Christianity at a very fast rate here in the UK. So, wow, I think it's going to be interesting. Hey, AL, it's going to be interesting to see the how the UK's uh, the outlook for Christianity is going to be. Just the other day, the so like I was saying to you, Great Britain is in charge of the Anglican Church. They are at the helm of things. They are at the forefront, right, of all things the Anglican Church. Some people call the Protestants, the ones that broke away from the Catholic Church, right? And so now they have all these other branches all over the world, the Anglican Church. Every year they meet at the synod. They go and have their synod, and I think not long had one, I think. The African bishops who form the Anglican Church have been warning the UK, the Great Britain, they've been warning them that look, if you all sign on um, the LGBTQ, if you allow that in the church, we will be forced to pull out. They had made this threat years ago. They came guns blazing at, I don't know how many years ago this was, one of the synods that they had. to say, look, if you all ever make that decision, we will be forced to pull out. And so they've done it. They have done it. Hang on, let's see. Um, so Anglican Church. Justin Welby. I think it's finally been done. Right, here we go. Yeah, it's done. Let me share my screen so you guys can see. Mm, hey, hello. Postcard. Same with German Lutherans. I've seen a female openly lesbian pastor with her wife. No, oh wow. Of course, that's stirring up conservative circles. Of course, the church is they're being forced to evolve, kicking, screaming, and they with so much opposition, but they are being forced. Now, this is not it's not something happening all over the world. There are that parts of the world that the rest of the world can be changing. We are not changing. The African churches, oh, they are a completely different kettle of fish over there. They are still saying, look, we are not changing, we are not twisting for nobody. Gays not allowed, and that's how it's going to be. So, um, here we go. The Anglicans reject Justin Welby as head of the global church amid anger at same-sex blessing. So, this is crazy. The Church of England finally, well, not finally, they're not there yet. The Church of England have said, oh, can you guys see the screen? Oh, God, every time I always do this. Right, here we go. Sorry about that. So, the Church of England recently okayed blessings for people who identify as gays, lesbians, the LGBT community. You can have a blessing in the church, right? Before, it was just a no. No marriage, no blessing, no nothing. It was not a conversation. In fact, there was restriction placed on the priests. So if you identified as LGBTQ, you could identify as such, it was absolutely fine. Identify as LGBTQ. But the restrictions were placed on them that you had to be celibate. You had to be a celibate priest. I actually found that very problematic because then I was in the Church of England. I thought, look, if you will allow them to be LGBTQ, are you going to go and monitor their private parts? How are you going to know whether they're celibate or not? So the condition was that they could not, they had to be celibate, right? Funny how the church will say, okay, you can be gay, but you have to be celibate. I don't get it. I just don't. Anyway, I think that now has changed. So the priests now they no longer have to be celibate, but they can't still be married in the church. They can go and do their marriage in the court or anywhere else, but they can come to the Church of England for a blessing. They have moved slightly, but not exactly there. The people in the LGBT community said, okay, yes, we appreciate your little move, but it's not good enough. And now the other churches all over the world say, oh, no, 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 no. If you proceed the way you're going, very soon everything will be permissible. And so the rest of the church said, we are not for this. They have now rejected the one who is the head of their churches. They rejected him. They said, no, we don't want him. So the Anglicans have rejected Justin Welby as head of the global church amid anger at same sex blessing. Church leaders of some developing countries say Church of England has disqualified itself as the mother church. Let me see. I'm curious to go and see what countries are these. I bet if you go and look the countries that are opposing this new development, I bet they're struggling countries. Anyway, the leaders of the Anglican churches in some developing countries, including South Sudan, Uganda, Democratic Republic of Congo, have said they no longer recognize Justin Welby, the Archbishop of Canterbury, as the head of the global church. Of course, it's those in that region. Well, most of them in that region of the world. They're the ones saying, no, we don't want it. They choose to be backward. Anyway, that's not where we're going today. So, but today, yeah, guys, did you know that the Church of England right now, they're being forced to reconsider God's gender? Not reconsider. They already knew what his gender was. There was no question. He was supposed to be genderless. But somehow, people have seen this God as a male character. The Godhead, all male. Him, he, all three. But God is supposed to be genderless. God is being referred to as a he for the most part. And so now they're forced to look, if God is gender neutral, why are you calling him a he? Oh my goodness. People are in uproar. Oh, they're in uproar. They're like, no, 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 no. Oh my goodness. How? But the Church of England said, we will look into it. Says the Church of England will look into the use of gender neutral terms to refer to God in prayers. I wonder what they shall call God. I wonder what they shall call him. They might call him, I don't know, they, them. They, them. Just 1 second. I've got my nephew. I've got my nephew here with me, and he just wants to know if he can go to McDonald's. I'm giving him some money, so he's trying to. Give me 1 second, guys. Let me just. Okay. All right, let's continue. So the Church of England, they're forced to reconsider the whole God. 1 sec. What have I done here? Sorry, guys. I always have to make sure everything is set up right here. Okay, there we go. Hey, Mystique. I see you, Mystique. Oh, come on. Sorry, guys. It's my mouse just seems to not want to behave itself tonight. Okay, here we go. Right. Hey, Phil. Hey, Dean. Juad. Hello. Good to see you. I bet the Christians are losing their mind. Hang on. Dean, hang on. You hang on. I've got a couple of videos for you to see. You're here, Hunter Biden's laptop. Hey, good to see you, boss cat. Oh, androgynous master, gender fluid source of existence. Hallowed be thy name. All hail the androgynous master. All hail. Whew. Mm-mm-mm. So, right, what we're doing here. So the Church of England have agreed that they will look into the use of gender neutral terms to refer to God in prayers. But the century old institution said there are no plans to abolish the current services though, but they will look into it. And these issues reflect the growing global awareness about the assumed usage of pronouns, causing offense or upset to those who do not identify with the agenda they were assigned at birth. Apparently, Christians have recognized since ancient times that God is neither male or female. A spokesperson for the church said, yet the variety of ways for addressing and describing God found in scripture has not always reflected in their worship. Let me read that again. Christians have recognized since ancient times that God is neither male nor female. A spokesperson for the church said, yet the variety of ways of addressing and describing God found in scripture has not always been reflective of this. Who's deceiving who? How can the church say, oh, we have known for centuries that God is he's genderless. So why are you calling him a he if he's genderless? Why are the Godhead referred to as he's? Jesus came. Oh, Jesus was clearly a man. So they can't say, look, there's no way they can escape this thing. They're going to they're going to shoot themselves in the foot by doing so. So why did Jesus come as a male? If God was genderless, why did Jesus come as male? Jesus is also God, isn't he? Huh? Maya, hey, good to see you. Right. So guess what, guys? Someone has something to say about this whole thing. Okay, before we go and look at the videos, let me show you who has something to say. Guess what? Putin. Putin has something to say about this. Putin, yes, him. Putin has mocked the reports that the Church of England plan to use gender neutral terms for God as an example of how the West don't know what they are doing. During his state's during the State of the Nation address, Russian President Vladimir Putin has pointed to the Church of England's recent decision to explore gender neutral terms for God as evidence that the West doesn't know what it is doing and it is heading for a spiritual catastrophe. Putin, he said, right, during while he was delivering a State of the Nation address to the Russian people, he he railed against perceived Western stupidity and said that the West was waging a culture war against Russian Orthodox Christian values. The Anglican Church is considering a gender neutral God. May God forgive them, for they do not know what they do, Putin declared. Millions of people in the West understand that they are being led to a real spiritual catastrophe, Putin said. He went on to accuse Western nations of changing historical facts to suit the woke ideologies and staunchly criticized the church's recent discussions on allowing priests to bless same sex marriage. I tell you, the Church of England, they are the war that they're in right now. They are being attacked from left, right, and center. They're being forced to change. You know, when you're being forced to evolve, that's the Church of England. I don't think they saw a day like this coming, where their power would be so insignificant that the other they are the leaders. They are the leader of the Anglican Church. But the other churches have come together and said, we don't recognize you as our mother church. We reject you for allowing same-sex blessings, not marriage. The Church of England, they have not even got to the point of marriage yet. They're still not there quite yet. But even then, they are still having a lot of opposition. Now they're forced to reconsider God's gen. In fact, and then the people who are opposed to all of this are saying, oh, you're trying to dance to the tune of the woke people. You're trying to bend over backwards to please the the sinners. But the church should take a stand. But guess what? The LGBTQ community, they're saying, no, we are not impressed. We are not impressed. Okay, we appreciate the little step, but not good enough. Not good enough. Steve McGray, manager. Hey, good to see you. Jerome, good to see anti-social media. Hello, good to see you. Let's see who else. Christians that I know are mouthing about. Oh, they of course they are. Of course they are. Oh, and guys, um, this stream is dedicated specially to a very special person who isn't feeling too good. I want to keep them private, but they're watching, right? And so please, I urge you all to send some love to very special person. They're not doing too well, and I'm hoping that they can, get better soon, feel better soon, so that we can, let's do things. There are things to be done. So guys, send some love in the chat for my special friend, but I'm gonna keep it anonymous. I don't want to bring attention, but please, some love in the chat. A lot of us are going through so much, so much. um you know I just wish I could help make things better, but not a lot I can do. So all right, so Putin reckons, right? What did Putin say? He said they distort historical facts, constantly attack our culture, the Russian Orthodox Church, and our other traditional religions of our country. Look at what they do with their own peoples. The destruction of the family, cultural and national identity, perversion, and the abuse of children are declared the norm. And priests are forced to bless same sex marriage, Putin said. That's him there talking. That's Putin mocking. look, look at Justin Welby. Look at the face on Justin Welby. He's the one in charge of the Church of England. I mean, look how they reduced what they reduced him to. Guys, do you know some years ago, this guy, about 2-3 years ago, he came out and said, we need to reconsider something. We have painted Jesus as a white man. We as a church, we did that. And it is time to reconsider Jesus's ethnicity. It's time that the church take a stand in saying we do not know what Jesus looked like. And even if we did know, he is nothing like what has been given to the world. This man did. He was in charge of the church. He said that. See if I can find the article. Mm, yeah, in 2020, right? In 2020, this was him. So that's him in 2020, right? He said the Church of England should rethink the portrayal of Jesus as white. Yeah, he said they should reconsider the way statutes and other representations of Jesus portray him as white in the light of the Black Lives Matter protest. The Archbishop of Canterbury said. He also said that the church must look very carefully to see if they should also if they should all be there. I don't know what that is. Um, he said that the West in general needed to question the prevailing mindset that depicted Christ as a white man in traditional Christian imagery. Asked if there had to be rethink on the white image of Jesus, Welby said, "Yes, of course it does. This sense of God, this sense that God was white. You go into churches around the world and you don't see a white Jesus. You see a black Jesus, a Chinese Jesus, a Middle Eastern Jesus, which of course is the most accurate. You see a Fijian Jesus." He said Jesus is portrayed in many ways as there are cultures, languages, and understandings. And I don't think that throwing out everything we've got in the past is the way to do it. But I do think saying that's not the Jesus who exists. Okay? Um, he said this. And when he said this, let me tell you what happened. When this man, Justin Welby, said this, that the church really should rethink Jesus' ethnicity and race, this guy came under fire. Because don't that at the time he said this was during the time of the Black Lives Matter. They shut him down quick. So we are here trying to still uh uh save whatever is left of ourselves. We're struggling with numbers. And here you are trying to talk. You better stop it fast. They were calling for his job. Here in the UK, they were saying if this man proceeds with this thing, they better just remove him. His job was on the line for saying this thing. And guess what they did? It was as though he didn't say anything. They just swept it under the carpet and they were done with it. No, oh, don't touch it. Don't touch it. The Reverend Father who I went to, when I was about to start my training to be a priest in the Church of England, he said, because when I started questioning and deconstructing, then the question of Jesus's ethnicity came up. I was shocked to find out that Jesus wasn't white. When I closed my eyes to pray, I saw a white Jesus, a white God. Everything was white. That's the image we grew up with. And so I went to Reverend Father because I was conflicted. And the Reverend Father said, yes, it is true. Jesus wasn't white. The church lied to the world. What? He said, yes. He said the church should apologize for that lie. So, but don't worry about Jesus' ethnicity. We as believers, we have to worry about, what we have to concern ourselves with, what Jesus came to do, right? So that's what you should. He said, but what he finds is people tend to think of Jesus in whatever image you want to think of him as. So if you're white, you can think of him as white. If you're black, think of, just everyone thinks of Jesus in whatever image. He said, really and truly, nobody knows what Jesus would have looked like. So, but if nobody knows what Jesus would have looked like, then why did you people come to Africa? You missionaries that came to Africa with your Jesus, why did you come with pictures of Jesus? He was white. These people had images of this guy. The early Christians, the ones that came over there, they brought the pictures along with. So whenever they went to communities to go and speak to, they had the image of the guy with them. It was deliberate. Now, this guy is trying to say, church, let's rethink this. They just shut him down quick. They were calling for his job. And what most people were saying, I think it was on Twitter, they were saying that, how can you get rid of something that has lasted for years? This is what we have always known. So why change it? Unless you're trying to cause chaos. Because that time they were calling for most of the statues of those slave traders who the country worship, right? They were pulling down statues. They were desecrating the statues of these men, the men who were revered. But turns out these men were slave traders. Anyway, I have completely gone off course. This is not where I was going tonight, but of course, sometimes. Hey, Michaela, you see love. Steve McRae, what did you say? They could not steamroll Ukraine, also points out the military weakness. So, Justin Welby, no, not Justin Welby, what's his name? It's funny how Putin, where is it? Where did the Putin thingy go? Okay, all right. Where did Putin go? Where did he go? Where have I lost? Oh, here we go. So, Putin said, Putin has mocked the Church of England. They plan to use gender neutral terms. Putin said that the West don't know what they're doing. They've got no clue. He said that the West are attacking the Russian culture and Orthodox values. What else did he say? He said, yeah, the Anglican Church is considering a gender neutral God. May God forgive them, for they know not what they do. Millions of people in the West understand that they're being led to a real spiritual catastrophe. Wait, so your God is going to sit there and watch you all being led to a spiritual catastrophe? Does that not speak volumes of the kind of God you worship? If he can watch you be led to a spiritual catastrophe, then it's either he doesn't exist or he's useless. So he said the Church of England, he went on to accuse Western nations of changing historical facts to suit woke ideologies and staunchly criticized the church's recent discussions on allowing priests to bless same sex marriages. He said they have distorted historical facts. They constantly attack our culture, the Russian Orthodox Church, and other traditional religions of our country. Look at what they're doing to their own people: the destruction of the family, cultural and national identity, perversion, and the abuse of children. And now they are now declared the norm. Oh well. So, but guys, that's not where we're heading tonight. So, of course, uh, people, you know what they're like. They will have something to say. So let's go and have a look at what the opinions of people were when they discovered that the Church of England is considering a genderless uh, pronouns for God. It's funny how this God seems to change from time to time. He seems to, you know, for a God that declared that he is the same yesterday, today, and forever, he changes depending on the generation, depending on the people. He just, can't seem to remain the same yesterday, today, and forever. Happy Jesus 1, 2, 3. Putin. You said Putin. Neddy. Hey, Neddy. Uh, wait, is it Putin? Seriously, guys, how do you pronounce the man's name? Putin or Putin? Putin. Putin. One says Putin. Paul Cutler says. Misty says it's no, not Misty. Nerdy says it's Putin. Okay. God not only has a penis, God is someone asked at the start, someone asked, does God have a penis? And I said, look, I don't know. But if he's showing, I'll take front row seat to go and have a look at what he's packing. Yes, I'll buy a ticket to go and have a look. Let's see what's God packing, yeah? So please, any day God is showing, please, someone should come and get me, okay? Right, let's see what these people have to say.
Let us pray. Our Father, sorry, not anymore, our non-gendered parent who art in heaven. That sound right to you? In a break with centuries of tradition, the Church of England is debating whether to stop referring to God as a he by introducing gender-neutral pronouns in prayers and hymns. Well, I'm joined by Christian activist and author Simon Hill and US conservative talk radio host Ben Ferguson. So Ben Ferguson, I'd imagine when you heard about this, the steam began to rage out of your ears. What is your view of a gender-neutral God?
Congratulations to the church for doing everything possible to become completely irrelevant from society with this woke BS. It's embarrassing that they can't go back and look at what scripture says and look at certain things like our Father who art in heaven, and then sit there and think, wow, of all the problems that people have in the world, that we could be helping people with poverty and with children and with orphans and with people that are starving around the world. Let's go back in and rewrite this so that we don't offend anybody. Guess what? The scriptures are offensive to people that sin. The scriptures are offensive to Christians because it is about right and wrong. There are people that are always going to be offended by the Bible, and to try to take the offensiveness out of it and give everybody a kumbaya warm hug is a disaster for the church. Anyone that's doing this, in my opinion, should not be in a position of leadership of the church, and they should be fired immediately for trying it.
Okay. Simon Hill, your response to that?
Well, I think
God
with all
is a
respect to Ben,
hermaphrodite. Steve
he's
McQueen
right that the
manager.
church should be concerned about poverty,
Well,
about the needs of children. The church could get a lot more.
Well, that is a claim I would like to see for myself. I would like to see for myself what exactly is God packing down there. I will take front row seat. Yes. I think we're at the stage now where we need to know what God has down there. His angels used to come down and come and sleep with women down here. His angels even went as far as to birth. Well, not birth. They didn't birth the babies, but they impregnated the women. So that means God's angels, not only did they have phalluses, they also had baby making well, parts of themselves. Now, don't forget, these same angels were so sexually appealing that the people of Sodom and Gomorrah looked at the angels of God and thought, sex, 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 fuck, fuck, just want to fuck. Just all the men of that city dropped everything they were doing to fuck angels. So, and they do say, like father, like son, right? So, there are also some people that believe that God had a wife. Asherah, I forget the name of the wife of God. The one they said was his wife. Asherah? I don't know. But yes, angels sleep with women. Angels are they're sexually appealing to men. Can you imagine all the men they dropped everything they were doing? Scripture says both old and young. The 10-year-olds wanted to fuck. The 5-year-olds wanted to fuck. The 2-year-olds, men, the ones, the male version, they wanted to fuck angels. Can you imagine that? Asherah, right, Nerdy, thank you. It's Asherah. I got that right.
or active in supporting marginalised people. But this isn't the Church of England considering a massive change. This is just a part of the Church of England having a discussion about possibly allowing some variety in worship in the way God is referred to. And actually, there's nothing new about it. God is not literally male or literally
Sure, it's
female.
new.
God
That's
doesn't
why we're
have
talking about it.
genitals or chromosomes. God, you're not suggesting, Ben, are you, that God is actually literally male?
Like, are you? Okay, let me ask you a question. Serious question? Am I black?
I don't know. I can't see you. I'm just talking down a microphone, so I don't know what you look like.
For the record.
Okay. Am I a male? Am I a male or a female? Serious question.
Well, I assuming you're male from what you say. Of course, Jesus.
P.S. Morgan, Jerome.
So
P.S.
if
Morgan.
you can be that logical, hold on 1 second. If you can be that logical, and I'll go to Piers Morgan for this. Is Piers Morgan black or white?
Well, I'm currently identifying as white.
And Piers is white. God is
currently
not
identifying as white.
This is the insanity. The fact that we're even having a pause and people are worried about how to answer the damn question is the absurdity of what's going on in this world. Piers, just so you know, I have no problem saying you're white. I have no problem saying that you're not Roy McIlroy. I have no problem saying that you're not a woman. I have no problem saying that you're not Jesus. I have no problem saying that there's a difference between a man and a woman. There shouldn't be a long pause because we're afraid of offending someone when we tell them the truth. The fact is, there are certain things.
Yes, Christy, he said he's currently identifying as white.
Ben, let Simon respond to that. I mean, Simon, the point I would make, Simon, is simply that I can imagine that a lot of people in England who are Christian, who've seen this headline, particularly in the Daily Mail, the front page, is God going to go gender neutral? They'll just groan out loud and they will think the Church of England has gone woke. And as we know, once that starts, it just starts to alienate people from the church. And at a time when the church needs more support, not less support, I'm surprised they would want to press the woke button.
They are not pressing the woke button. They are forced to consider. The Church of England right now is at a time in history where they don't have monopoly of the decisions. Once upon a time, they did. They could control things. But you see, right now, where we are at now, Christianity is no longer the order of the day here in the UK. There are more people identifying as without a religion. The numbers of Christians are dwindling fast. And the predictions are not looking great for the Church of England. They're struggling to fill their churches on a Sunday. Most of the buildings, the Church of England, most of them are being sold. And the people buying them, they're buying them to put clubs, restaurants, just all sorts of, even houses. They remodeling and changing the whole outlook of the church. One church not very far from me here has two buildings. One building, they were forced to sell one building where the children used to go for church. They forced to sell that. No children were coming. The building just laid there unoccupied. They had to sell it now to the Sikh community. So now the Sikh temple now owns that. So many, you see many Church of England for sale sign. And most of the people who attend church on a Sunday in most of these Church of England churches are the older generation, older people. You see the younger generation? Oh, they only come when it's weddings, namings, and there's a funeral to attend. Otherwise, you don't see them there on a Sunday. They're not there. Hey, Spottom, I see you. How are you? Esther, what you meant to say is the Church of England is in the mud. All right, that's exactly what I've been trying to say since. It is in the mud. It's dancing and swimming in the mud. That's what's happening right now. Meaning more churchgoers. Oh, let's see. More churchgoers. No, if anything, it will make the LGBT community feel more welcome in church. But Mystique, I don't know if that will work. I don't know if that will. If I don't know. This is how I see it. This is, guys. These are my opinion. This is my opinion. So imagine being a member of the just imagine the LGBTQ community, however you identify, right? You identify as a Christian and you're LGBTQ. And now the church is deliberating about whether to accept you for who you are or not. Yes, let's do it this way. Oh, one section are saying no. Another section are saying yes. Then finally, they now give you a little something. Not everything you're looking for to make you feel accepted. They give you a little something. Okay, you can have a church blessing, but you cannot be married in our church. I would feel insulted. I would feel insulted. If you're going to accept me for who I am, no questions asked, there shouldn't be any conditions placed on me. Can you imagine that the priests in the Church of England were told that they could identify as LGBTQ, but they had to remain celibate? That was the rule. If you were going to be a priest in the Church of England, you could just, yes, be LGBTQ, gay, lesbian, trans, whatever. Just fine. As long as you are not fucking. Can you imagine that the Church of England had that rule? Well, it looks like it's since been lifted just recently. I don't know how they were planning to monitor the whether they were having sex or not. These priests, when you put a law like that, can you imagine, guys, that the church puts a rule, law? Okay, you can be gay, but no sex. What? Are you going to monitor private parts? Are you going to monitor the private parts of your priests? Love your neighbor, clothe your neighbor, feed your neighbor. Sounds like woke BS to me. Excellent. I know what I'll do. I'll go to a church that thinks homosexuality is a sin. What if Neddy? Neddy. That's it. Can you imagine? Here you are looking to be accepted, not just by anybody, but by the leaders of the religion that you subscribe to. And instead of accepting you, you now become a thing of propaganda in the church, a thing of debate. Yes, no, toss you from left to right. And no, 1 minute you can have sex, next minute you can't have sex, next minute, no, you can have a blessing. Oh, no, you cannot. Listen, why anybody would subject themselves to that, I don't know. But some people would choose that for themselves. The idea that you can be Christian and gay, for me, it doesn't work. For me, it doesn't work. Some people think they can do it. They think they can be gay and be LGBTQ, which is fine. Do you live life, be happy. But why would you choose to take on a religion that clearly condemns you? The book condemns you. The God of the book condemns you. So why would you choose that for yourself? You can do better. Mistake? Okay. The one thing they have no problem with is like access your money. No, listen. Money. Uh, with money, you don't have all these hang-ups. Just bring the money in. Just bring it in. Hallelujah. We bless your name. We bless you for bringing in, for blessing the church. Just bring it in. No, 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 no. With money, we don't have to have these conversations about being woke or not woke, or gender or not. We don't have these conversations. Just money, money, money. Mm, mm, mm. Yes, I totally agree with you. I was talking if they fully, I was talking if they fully accept us. I think it's just.
I groaned when I saw the Daily Mail headline because it was so inaccurate, because it suggested this was going to be some major change in the Church of England rather than a committee having a discussion about some possible minor changes. It may alienate you for the church to try to be inclusive, but actually, this is challenging. If we can, I'm happy to call God he or she or they.
What would you do with the Lord's Prayer
God
then,
is
out of
not
interest? What would you
The
do,
Lord's
Simon,
Prayer.
with the Lord's Prayer? You can't start with Our Father.
I still say Our Father, but actually,
why? Why would you do that if you believe in gender
that refer to God as Mother?
Okay, the Church of England are reconsidering, right, prayers and how they call God. So, how are they going to refer to God in this Our Father, this Lord's Prayer? This is Jesus. Wait, did Jesus not see this was going to happen? Did Jesus not have foresight? I thought that God was all knowing. He would know that a time will come when this whole thing will be criticized. But Jesus was telling them, when you pray, pray like this: Our Father, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy. Hello. But now we can't say Our Father anymore. So what are we going to say? Our Father, Mother, who art in heaven. Oh no, what are the okay? Let me see. What could they likely say? Our person. Who art in heaven? No, he's not a person. Is he now? Our deity, who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Our deity, who art in heaven. Our guardian, who art in heaven. Right.
Yeah, but hang on. If you believe in gender neutrality for God, why would you start the Lord's Prayer with Our Father? That makes no sense, obviously. You have to change it to Our Person.
Well, I'd happy to say father or mother, because I think God is our father and our mother. And as I say, there are prayers from
so
the
you
Middle
would change
Ages
the
that
Lord's
call
Prayer
God
to
mother.
say,
This
Our
is not,
Mother who art
this is
in
not
heaven.
something new.
Well, hang on, Simon. I want to know.
No,
because
I'd happily say
every
either.
church, everywhere I go where there's a church setting, you say the Lord's Prayer. Right? Are you now saying we change the wording of the Lord's Prayer to Our Mother who art in heaven? Is that what you're suggesting? Right. So just to clarify,
Jesus referred to God as...
Right. I understand. Let me just ask a question. Just to clarify, so that everyone watching is under no illusion what this means. If God is deemed to be gender neutral, what is the wording to the start of the Lord's Prayer? How do we start it?
I think it's fine to refer to God as father or mother or parent. I don't think that's
Have
the
you been
point.
to a
The
church
point is what
service
was
where they
ordained
said,
about
Our
God's
Mother?
We could say our clown who art in heaven, our joker who art in heaven. Many things you can call him. Many things you can call him. Mystique says that the British pastors don't anoint with Coca-Cola and Fanta, so they tend to not have jets. And that's the good thing about the priests in Church of England. They have to be modest. The only way they can make extra income apart from their stipend is if they had books, right? If they did side gigs. But otherwise, you couldn't be like those African pastors and those American pastors who don't want to fly with demons in the tube. Oh no, there's no Church of England priest. What private jet? The good thing with the Church of England pastors or the priests is that you get a house. You get a house, you get a stipend. What else? I think your bills are paid for you. And then when you're retired, I think you get, of course, you get your pensions. You'll be taken care of, but not to make you rich. No. And that's one thing I can appreciate about the Church of England. That's one thing that they're quite good at. But everything else,
Father who art in heaven, Simon. Have you been to one that did that?
Our dictator.
Church service that said our parent, yes.
Our dictator
mother,
who art in heaven.
Not in the Lord's Prayer, but in other prayers. I've led prayers in church. Where
but the Lord's Prayer is the most important prayer of all. We know that in the Christian church.
No. What makes a prayer important is the sincerity in our hearts.
That's
what is sincere about changing the wording? Yeah, but what's sincere about changing the wording after centuries of this key prayer in the Christian
church?
As I say, from Our Father who art in heaven,
there are prayers from the Middle
Ages
that refer to God as mother.
To me, the problem with this, Ben, is it makes no sense. Like a lot of woke things, it all sounds great and inclusive, right to the point you try and work out. Well, hang on, Simon.
This is something.
Simon, hang on. I'm asking Ben. The problem is, Ben, when you go down this woke rabbit hole, it sounds great in principle. Yeah, let's be more inclusive. Until you get to the actual details, i.e., what is the wording of the Lord's Prayer? And when I hear it might be Our Parent who art in heaven or Our Mother who art in heaven. I can only tell you, my mother, a Catholic watching this at home, will be throwing stuff at the screen.
Yeah, if you want to destroy religion, this is how you do it. Let me finish. If you want to destroy people's faith in God, this is how you do it. If you want to destroy the church, this is how you destroy it. And that may be what some people are wanting to do here through wokeness, is say, we stand for nothing to include everything, and we don't stand up for right and wrong. Because ultimately, if you look at what the Bible is about, and you look at what people believe in, it's about, let me finish. Okay, just hold on. I was quiet for quite some time, and Pierce knows me well. That was very hard for me.
Very unusual.
The church is about right and wrong, and good and evil. And if you take that away, where the church can no longer stand up for what is right and have principles and declare that things are in fact wrong, you will destroy the church, and you will destroy a society who has no faith in anything, has no faith in any God.
And
that is going to be where they go with this.
It's an interesting debate. Simon, I appreciate you joining me. Ben, thank you for joining me.
The church does a great job of destroying itself.
All right.
The church does a great job of destroying itself, doesn't need any outside help. They do a fantastic job of destroying themselves from the inside. Let's go and have a look at the Catholic Church. Just take a little walk over to that side. Go and see how they destroy themselves from the inside. They don't need help from outside. No.
But so I'm going to leave
Sure
it
you
there.
are. You're
But
trying
thank
to
you very
change the
much
Bible.
indeed.
You can't even tell me what a man or a woman is.
Guys,
Oh,
on that
here we
bombshell,
go. Not the
thank
man
you very
and
much
You
woman.
didn't actually ask me
Man
that,
and woman
but I believe in
conversation.
principles. I don't believe God is a man in the sky.
All right, I do think we're going to start the Lord's Prayer with
You
our
can't
mother who
figure
art
out
in
man
heaven.
and
We've all
woman.
lost
Your
our minds.
principles are
Anyway,
worthless.
guys, got to leave it there. Thank you very much.
So the Church of England is now trying to claim that God
So these are the British people now. This the everyday people. Their opinions of this whole gender change thing of God.
is gender neutral. So he's not a man or a woman or whatever. So they're trying to do this to be inclusive. First of all, if this is true, the Church of England is not a true place of God. You know what I'm saying? These are not true
Right.
Christians.
It's not a
okay?
true
In the
place
Bible,
of God.
God mainly refers to himself as a man.
Oh yeah?
Okay, like Father, Lord, as well. Jesus, he says, my Father, my Lord, as we all do. Why do you need to change any of that? There's no need to change any of that to do it for the LGBTQ community. The LGBTQ community is nothing to do with Christianity or religion. In my opinion, you don't need to change anything from the Bible. This is the reason why a lot of Muslims say people keep changing things from the Bible for this exact reason. This is very confusing. So how do you say the Lord's Prayer then? Not our Father or our person, or like, it's just stupid. Stop confusing people. Sometimes you need to keep traditional things. This is just weird.
No way. No way these men are actually considering this. Only
So you keep traditional things. Even when those traditional things are toxic, even when they're no longer relevant, even when they no longer fit the narrative, you keep them. You have to keep them. And that's why a lot of Christians, they're as good as living in a primitive era. They're so backward. They do not like change because their book does not. Their book is unbendable. So this is the problem Christians they will keep facing. And if you think that you have just started, you better think again. This is just the beginning. This is just the beginning. The world is evolving. Values are changing. People's perspectives, especially with the internet. The internet has done a fantastic job of opening up the world to everyone else. Now everyone can see who is who. How do you operate? What do you identify as? Look, African people would say, well, there's a Nigerian adage that says, foul, I don't know what to say, but I will say, and I will translate. Foul nyash, don't open. And what that means, the cock, right? The chicken, the cock. Because you know the chicken is always, you never see its backside. Its feathers always covers, so you never see it. But now it's in the open, right? Nothing, there are no feathers to hide. It's now open for the whole world to see. There's no hiding place for you. So this guy, he made me laugh because he's just
In my opinion,
he's
you don't need to change
not this
anything
one,
from
the
the
one, the
Bible.
next
This is
one
the reason
coming now.
why a lot of Muslims say people keep changing things from the Bible for this
Laron,
exact reason.
hey.
This is very confusing. So how do you say the Lord's Prayer then? Not our Father or our
What the
person, or
back,
like,
what
it's
the
just
back,
stupid.
eh,
Stop confusing people.
what the
Sometimes you
back,
need to keep traditional things. This is just weird.
no way. No way these men are actually considering this. Only in England this would happen. They take the piss out of Christianity. You think this would happen in Islam? Do not associate me with this. I'm converting to Islam. Call me Ahmed. Inshallah. How are you changing a whole religion for a very small minority of people who probably aren't even religious? You think man died for our sins to be called they? Put some respect on his name, man. Bro,
I said, do you think man died for our sins to be called they? Did Jesus die for their sins to now be called they, them. Jesus died for the sins of Christians so he can be called a he. Not a she, not a they, not a them, not an it, not it is. That's the essence of Jesus' death, to be called a he. This guy made me laugh.
But I'm going back home to Jamaica.
He's
You
going
think this
back.
could ever run in Jamaica? Fire for that!
Father who art in heaven. So there is a question proposed that perhaps in order to make the church, the Christian church, more modern, we should have gender neutral language when it comes to all these men depicted by the Bible, Emma Webb.
I've had enough of this. I've just, honestly, I've had it up to here with the Church of England and their nonsense. It's only a couple of days ago they were suggesting human composting instead of cremation so that they can reach their net zero targets. So now we would be in this absurd situation where it's rather than saying our Father who art in heaven, we'd have to say our non-gendered parent. Or
and they've said that they was, women don't do terribly well in the Bible. So you know.
Oh gosh. Our non-gendered parent who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. No. God, he's failing, eh? He's doing a really horrible job. No. Imagine, can you imagine that this God, they claim that he is the creator. He created the universe. He created the stars. He created the seas, the moon, the oceans, the planets. He created all those things. But look at him now. Look at him. His identity. Look how they're making a mockery of him. Intelligent designer. So intelligent. Cannot even step in and say, okay, enough. This is where I come in. I'm in charge here. Just lets them just make a mockery of him. What did she say? Our non-gendered parent who art in heaven. I like that.
A lot more in the Bible than I do. But women tend to be, the virgin or the whore, right? In the Bible, there is a very clear stereotype.
Jesus is Lord!
One might say Stephen Pound. The Bible, in order to not have fewer Christian people in this country, does need to move with the time to be more gender inclusive. As I'm saying it, I'm not believing it myself.
I'm trying.
I'm
sorry, the Blessed Virgin Mary is one of the most important people in the Bible, the most important people in the history of the world. Yeah. And we have Naomi, we have Ruth, we have Mary Magdalene, we have Mary Magdalene. There's plenty of other people in there. So, but look, I think the problem with this is, I don't know what the Pope's going to say because he'll papa. What on earth would the Pope then be? I think this is such nonsense, but there is one little smidgen of sanity in here. Some of the language we used to use the word men to describe men and women. We used to say, for example, in the Creed, in the Catholic Church, we say, for us men and for our salvation. Quite often we now say, for us people and for our salvation. I think that's perfectly acceptable. Yeah. But to tie yourself into agonizing...
Oh, it's getting crazy, folks. The Church of England wants to change God's pronouns to they and them. So they blessed us and them are protecting us. And they want to change the Lord's Prayer to our mother and our father, which art in heaven. But we don't believe in polytheism. The Bible says, Hear, O Israel, the Lord thy God is one. 3 in 1. Father.
What's this one talking about? They say your God is genderless. Nobody's saying that he's 3 different people. Well, what is he even talking? They're the same people that believe 1 equals 3 and 3 equals 1. Their God is polytheistic. What's he talking about? What's his name? This guy, I forget his name now. Someone has said, oh, can you please have a look into this guy? Let's do a deep dive. I forgot his name now. Marcus? I think his name is Marcus.
Protecting us, and they want to change the Lord's Prayer to our mother and our father, which art in heaven. But we don't believe in polytheism. The Bible says, Hear, O Israel, the Lord thy God is one. 3 in 1. Father, Son, Holy Spirit, right? For God so loved the world that he sent, look at this, he sent his only begotten son. Then he says, I will pour out my spirit upon the earth. It's God's spirit that he pours. He's pouring out his spirit upon the earth. 3 in 1. We are made in the image of God. I have a flesh, I have a spirit, I have a soul, but it's 3 in 1. We don't believe in polytheism. You better be careful. I told you that this is a demonic movement that is trying to...
This isn't... Look, according to your your worldview, you all recognize that God has no gender. You all know that. But for some reason, you've chosen to call God he. But now people are saying, They're getting pushback now. Because, this idea of God being he is very problematic, in my opinion. Because it's the common man that is reading the Bible, the degenerate in his home, right, with his wife. He's reading his Bible. The no good for nothing man would look at the Bible and say, because God is a man, so therefore I have some kind of authority around here, and you, woman, you have to be down there. You bow down to me. I grew up seeing that happen in my home. My dad, say to my mom, madam, you know, I am. It was bad. I am the boss around here. My dad had his own room. Nobody could go into his room. He had a key to his room. My dad will be gone for months on end. We don't know where he is, what he's doing. He's gone. Well, before he left finally, he left for about 11, 12 years. He just went off and married somebody else. But before he went, he'd be gone months. We don't see him. And when he's gone, he takes his key with him. He's the boss. And my dad was a Christian. I remember asking my dad when he married this young girl. I remember having a conversation with my dad. Why did you marry this girl, this lady? And he said to me, well, as Christians, we are bound by the law of God. He said, I follow all of God's laws, but just this one about having one wife, that is something between me and God. I'm not answerable to anyone, including you, Esther. Oh, okay. I think I was about 11 or 12. It was obvious Dad was not going to go further with the conversation. He said it's between him and God. So, Esther, go away. I had no choice. She had to go away. Aaron Reese, hello. Good to see you. His flesh looks like it smokes weed. Whose flesh? Whose flesh? Looks like it's nice. Hey, Ian Davenport. Hello, nice to be with all you misfits. Yes, thank you for all being here. No wonder God is concerned about our genesis. He's trying to figure out his own. Right. A lot can be said about that. A lot can be said about God's genitals. A lot can be said, but hey, let's continue with these people here.
Defy God's order and his design. God made a man, he made a woman. They have certain roles, they have certain functions, and I don't have the time to really break it down here, so go to YouTube. But you better wake up and realize we are living in the end times. Make no mistake.
You see the Church of England having a meeting, trying to decide if it's important to change the word of God, to change God pronouns. Can be he, can be she, can be they, can be them. I tell you today, God will not be mocked. He will not be mocked. And I say,
hello, where did this guy, has he been sleeping under a rock or something? Your God is being mocked. Go check out Putin. Putin is mocking your God. Putin has a few words to say about your God. Well, the God of Great Britain, because now it looks like the gods of these people are different. Putin's God clearly is different. Putin's God, that God ain't shifting for nobody. That God, he's fixed, not shifting. But the God of Great Britain, that one, depending on who is pulling him, or which angle is being pulled, he changes from day to day, from season to season. Now, there's a comment here. Let's see. Aaron Reese says, also, given that sorcery is the act of making a... Aaron Reese, don't say it out too loud. Or actually, no. I might need to give you a microphone, a megaphone, something to make it louder. It says, also, given that the sorcery in the act of making a pact with a supernatural force to gain access to their power, yikes, all priests and ministers are technically sorcerers. That is, when they say mic drop, just mic drop. In fact, I like that so much. I'm going to do something with that. That is the mic drop right there. I need to do something with this. Do a TikTok with this. Right. I need to yes, and to come up with something. This is such a good idea. Thank you, Aaron. Couldn't have said it better. How does my penis give me divine power when I can barely control it? Aaron, shh. Not too loud. These are the things you don't want God hearing, you see? Because, God watches everything. He's there when it happens. He's there when you come. He's there when you stick it in, out. However, right, look at the case of Onan, right? God had to be there to watch Onan, right? God had to monitor the process. Because otherwise, how did God know that Onan came on the floor? How did he know that? Unless, of course, he was standing there through it all. He was watching it all happen, right? So, please, shush. You don't want him to know that you can barely control it half the time. Well, he knows it anyway. He watches it happen. So, well, what can I say? What can I say?
The Church of England, you must repent, because God is a God who is mighty and powerful and righteous and holy. He will not be mocked by nobody. His glory will be shared with nobody. His word is a lamp to our feet and is everlasting to everlasting. God will not be mocked. He will not be mocked at the Grammys. He will not be mocked on your favorite music video. He will not be...
Hang on, what's he talking? God will not be mocked in the Grammys. Am I missing something here? What is this? God being mocked in the Grammys. Is he alluding to something? Was the Christian God mocked at the Grammys? What is this? Or is it the performances they're talking? I don't understand this. I don't.
Be mocked by the Church of England. He will not be mocked by you.
Oh, yeah?
And I say that with a broken heart and a love towards these people. We must turn back to God.
This is what's happening in the UK church right now. Romans 12:2 specifically tells us not to conform to the patterns of this world. And this is exactly conforming to the pattern of this world.
Okay, he's talking about, is it Lil Nas? Okay. There must be something. I'm thinking, God is not mocked at the Grammys, of all things. Because let's see. Hey, Melody Joy. Good to see you. Okay, so it's about Lil Nas. Okay. I was thinking, of all things, the Grammys. Right, because they all say, I want to thank God for this award. Oh. Do they all? Okay. Okay, but what's that got to do? The Grammys take place in the US. What's that got to do with the UK? Okay, I don't understand.
Like Jesus literally called God Father. He tells us to pray, our Father in heaven. Like, what's that going to change to? What's that meant to change to? Our being in heaven or something? Do you know what? It would almost be hilarious if it wasn't real. I can't believe what's happening to Christianity in my country, but
who's going to tell him? Let me take him back just a quick second. Who's going to tell him? Someone has to tell him.
Our being in heaven or something. Do you know what? It would almost be hilarious if it wasn't real. I can't believe what's happening to Christianity.
Okay, which one of you is going to tell him? Melody Joy, would you do us the honor of telling him? Someone has to tell him. Huh?
Christianity in my country, but you know, Bible prophesied the great fall. I guess the one thing we can be glad about is that Bible prophecies are coming true, and Jesus isn't far away. In all seriousness, though, please pray for my country. We're a mess right now.
Those prophecies are coming true. The Euphrates River has dried up. Didn't you know? The Bible predicted that the Euphrates River was going to dry up. The Bible said so. Those prophecies coming. Now, the Church of England, considering a genderless, God's gender, no, God's, I don't even know. Yeah, but this conversation, what we're having here, prophecy fulfilled. Jesus is on his way. In fact, he's mounted his horse. He's coming. He's coming back any day now.
Jesus will be returning soon, and if you don't believe me, just look at this.
Oh, I said it.
The Church of England is considered.
Jesus is coming soon. I said it. Jesus has mounted his horse. White, I think it's the white one Jesus is mounting on. I bet he has put on his robes of blood, because they said the scripture says he's going to be covered in the blood of his enemies when he's on that horse on his way back here. So he's probably gone and grabbed the bloody robe, ready for his sojourn down here. So Jesus, any day now, Jesus is coming.
Doing gender neutral terms.
Hey,
God.
Get Walk.
They're undergoing a project which will see that God is no longer referred to as he, him, and our Father. Church of England had lost my respect before, but this is the icing on the cake. It's utter blasphemy. And if you think you can just go in there and change the contents and the meaning of the Bible, then you are not Christian. It's God's divine word that he gave to us. What makes you think you have the authority to change it just because we live in a woke world where everyone's so offended by everything? In fact, Jesus commanded us to pray, our Father who art in heaven. Galatians 6 verse 7 says, do not be deceived. God cannot be mocked, for a man reaps what he sows. Judgment is coming to these people.
And the what the Farage moment.
Okay.
We learn, and it's been going on for a couple of years, and we know, of course, that the Church of England has...
Guys, what's this guy's name? I know his name, but for some reason, when I was putting all this, his name skipped me. I know him. Farage. Is this Farage? Okay, you know your British politicians. What's his name? No, is he a politician or a newsreader? I know him, but just not ringing any bells right now. Just anyway.
Virtually been taken over by Marxist bishops. Now we hear there is serious debate about regendering. Yes, regendering God.
That's Farage, right?
Actually considering getting rid of our Father who art in heaven. Yes, we're going to have a gender neutral. God will no longer be the Father. It'll be them or they. All I can say is the Church of...
Is Farage a Christian? Because what's his hang up? Now he's going to go on and say, oh, it's a fascist government and blah, blah, blah.
And we know, of course, that the Church of England has virtually been taken over by Marxist bishops. Now we hear there is serious debate about regendering. Yes, regendering God.
Okay. He says that the Church of England has been taken over by Marxist bishops. Hang on. Faraj, did you know that for years bishops were given an automatic seat in the House of Lords? One of they're like different houses that make decisions. Here in the UK, there's the House of Commons, the House of Lords. I think the House of Lords are a minor. I don't know how it all works. Bishops, I think 21 bishops get an automatic seat. This has been going on for hundreds of years. Okay, no. When that was happening, no, these were not Marxist bishops. But now, because they're trying to get you all to address God in such a way that you are not excluding anybody, now the bishops that have taken over, now they've taken over the Church of England. When it suits the narrative of the Church of England, nobody said anything. But now that it is now making life uncomfortable for these, the Marxist bishop have taken over. You see?
Impact they're actually considering. Getting rid of our Father who art in heaven. Yes, we're going to have a gender neutral. God will no longer be the Father. It'll be them or they. All I can say is the Church of England have let us down again and again and again. This appalling Archbishop Welby. Is it any wonder the congregations are so empty at the weekends? And I know that it's an established church in this country and the King is at the head of it. But frankly, if they go on like this, I cannot see any point to their further existence.
What is a woman or a man? Maybe neither or both. The Church of England is considering whether to drop male pronouns when referring to God, like our Father, and instead use gender-neutral pronouns. The church says it's been considering the use of gendered language in relation to God for several years, and that any pronouns were, quote, metaphorical because God's gender was not definable. The issue was put forward at the recent church leaders meeting, and a new project will begin in the coming months. Now, before a decision is made, an extensive approval process would be required for any formal changes. And
guys, don't worry, when their decisions are finally made, I'll be back with part 2. I want to know what they've decided to call God. And what prayers have they changed? It seems everyone is hung up on our Father who art in heaven. That one seems to be the main problem for a lot of these people. But it's just the tip of the iceberg. It's just the tip of the iceberg. Everything, God has been referred to as a he for the most part. What are we going to have another appearance of Jesus as a female? If we're trying to not exclude people here, Jesus should have either been intersex or a second appearance of Jesus as female. These are the things. Otherwise, Jesus, you can't tell me that God is genderless and then Jesus, who is also God, turns up as a man. What are we doing here? I mean, where's the sense in that? Unless Jesus was intersex or a female Jesus is on her way soon. This idea that, Jesus, God is not gender, blah, blah. You guys are just fooling yourselves. Look, this for me, it's like, it's insulting. How can you on the one hand say that your God is genderless and then he turns up as a man? Not only does he turn up as a man, he refers to his daddy up there as our Father. What, are you going to cancel Jesus, the Jesus narrative? Are you going to remove everything Jesus said? You know what? My suggestion. God should start arranging. This is how we're going to do things now, right? This is how things, so we're not being we're not excluding anyone. a female, the Holy Spirit would have to be female. So a female spirit will have to come down and overpower a man, who will then give birth, overpower a man and impregnate a man, and the man would have to carry baby and birth the female baby. He will have to birth that baby in the manger. Then when the baby is born as a female, then she will come up and, just exactly what Jesus did, but just the female version. Then we can say, okay, yes, God is trying to not be he's not trying to be discriminatory. Otherwise, if you like, call God they, them, he, she, it, whatever. It's not going to change anything. It doesn't work. It's useless, in my opinion. Names of Jesus. Okay. Oh, we're going to call her Jesus. Jesus. Jesus Merelda. Oh, so wait. When Jesus comes, then the men are going to then they're going to wash her feet. She's going to have 12 female disciples. Oh, I love this. I'm loving this. A female Jesus. Somebody. Yes. Just yes. She'll have 12 disciples who are female. But unfortunately, one female will have to betray her. Okay.
And a spokesperson has clarified there were, quote, absolutely no plans to abolish or substantially revise official service language.
In an open letter, we together
okay, so guys,
for the pain,
this
hostility, exclusion, and
so this is the Church of England apologizing to the LGBTQ community for the pain and hostility. This is not good enough, in my opinion. It is not good enough. Whatever they think they're doing here with an apology, some people say it's a step in the right direction. Okay, I'll take that. But the LGBTQ community who identify as Christians, you're selling yourself short for accepting this nonsense here. They have had lots of time to do this. So these are my opinions. It's a little too late. Just because they're being forced to do this. It's like, okay, all right, here you go. Just apology. God, what's going
and rejection that LGBTQI people have experienced within the church. We realise that this behaviour has not reflected the universal love of God for all.
Wait, hang on.
We know that we need to change.
Hang on. Let's see. What did you say? Mystique says the second coming will be illegal if it's a second Mary scenario. No, Mystique. Mary is not getting pregnant here. It's a man. I don't know what his name is going to be. But it's a man. A man has to be pregnant by a female ghost. How that's going to happen, I don't know. But anything's possible with God. They said, because I asked someone just yesterday, how did Mary get pregnant? And they said it was a miracle. So men are going to, it could be any of you guys here. Any of you here. Oh, wow. Any of you men, listen. If you all strategically position yourself and be, you just need to work hard at being highly favored man, right? Just be a highly favored. That was the criteria for Mary. She was highly favored. Never mind, she was engaged, and she belonged to a man already. Never mind all of that. We didn't care about that. As long as she was highly favored, right? So if you strategically position yourselves, men, you might just be the lucky man who would be the that would bring that would usher in Jesuselina into this world. Interesting.
Our letter, because we write a letter to the church, we express our joyful affirmation and celebration of LGBTQI people in our church communities. And we have begun to produce a suite of prayers. These prayers are known as prayers of love and faith.
Prayers of
They
love
mean
and
that
faith.
same-sex couples who are faithful and seek a lifelong relationship will be able to come into churches in the Church of England for prayers of dedication.
So the Church of England are developing these prayers of life, love, life, whatever. I don't know what she called it. Only for couples who are seeking. Wait, let me take that back. I can't completely skip me. What did she say again?
Prayers are known as prayers of love and faith.
So these prayers that they're working on are called prayers of love and faith. But there is a condition. There's a condition. So they've apologized. They're saying, we are sorry for the pain and that you've had to go through. So we're doing something. We're developing prayers that would fit, that would somehow make you all happy. But these are the conditions. Tell us.
They mean that same-sex couples who are faithful and seek a lifelong relationship will be able to come into churches in
faithful and seeking lifelong relationships. That's the condition. So if you're not faithful and you're not seeking, not everybody wants a lifelong relationship. Some want to have a 10-year relationship here, 2-year relationship there. Yeah, listen. Okay.
In the Church of England for prayers of dedication, thanksgiving, and of God's blessing.
This is an enormously important point, not only within the Anglican Communion and the Church of England, but also across the global church, in which we seek to recognize and to celebrate the love that all people have for one another, regardless of who they are and where they're from. And I am filled with joy about that.
The bishops in the Church of England have declined to allow same-sex marriages to take place in their churches, which means the Church of England remains the only church in England where it is actually illegal for its priests to marry same-sex couples. This is obviously far from good enough.
Yes.
However, there are some things that are coming in that are very good news, and honestly, more than I thought would come from this. So, for one thing, clergy will be allowed to enter into same-sex civil marriages. That is, marriages that do not take place in a church, but somewhere like a registry office. They will also know
the clergy who identified as LGBTQ could not marry. What was it now? Well, no, they had to remain celibate. Yes. But now I think that's changed now. Finally, you're going to let the clergy have sex. Well, the LGBTQ ones that you've denied sex. All these. I mean, why do people do this to themselves? Why? Some people would rather burn in what you call it. Is that scripture in the Bible that talks about burning? Burn in sin. Every night, have erections they can do nothing about. They will read the Bible, say Hail Marys and Lord's Prayer, trying to cure the sexual urges because we want to please God. because God has put these restrictions on us. Why would you do that to yourself? I mean, I get it. But why? For me, being a Christian and gay, it doesn't work. Being gay and Christian does not compute for me. If you like, twist it. Just try and paint it with whatever brush. The book condemns you. Where do you go from there? If Justin Welby likes, let him allow you to have sex on the pulpit, on the altar in the church. It doesn't change the fact that the holy book condemns you. So what's the point?
No longer be required to remain celibate, which is very good news. And civil marriages will be allowed to be blessed in a Church of England church. So this is all good news, and as I say, a lot more than I thought would come from this, but still not good enough. And the thing that honestly grates about this is the apology that the bishops offered as well. An apology only counts as a valid apology if you are no longer doing the thing that you are apologizing for. So it's no use apologizing for hurting people and discriminating against people when you are still hurting them and discriminating against them. So the fight continues.
The Church of England will now give blessings to same-sex marriages. This comes after an 8...
Okay, so let's see here. See my name being tagged here. Yeah, for Atheist. In the beginning, priests did get married. The church stopped it hundreds of years later for strictly... Oh, it was for financial reasons. Oh, really? Okay, let me ask this question here. Right. So priests who... I don't think the Church of England have those. Priests that are celibate. No, well, you know those priests that in the Catholic Church that don't have sex at all, except when they're touching little kids. But you get the idea. They're not supposed to be having sex because they are called to what's that thing? They're called to what do you call that? No, the women are they're called nuns. Then the men are called, what are they? Anyway, you understand what I'm saying. So, okay, they're called to be celibate. I think there's something else. I don't remember now. Anyway, you guys get my drift, what I'm trying to say. So my question is, what's the idea behind that? Can someone tell me? What is the idea behind God? Okay, so God has a mission, a task to be done. And in order to do God's mission, we want sexless people. We want them to set themselves aside and not have sex. What does it make the job better? Does it make the job more? Does it make it faster? Does it make it why? What's the idea behind denying people having sex in order to do God's will, God's mission, God's assignment, whatever that thing is? Someone tell me, please. Reverend, right? Yes, Reverend. Let's see. It's a step in the right direction, yes, but they're still at crawling stage. I won't accept this apology. Is a bit too weak, in my opinion, because even the apology comes with condition. Can you imagine? Are you accepting this? Anyway, yeah, change. You know what? Okay, don't let me be too insensitive here, because it is a change. It is a step in the right direction, because there are other countries in the next 100 years they're not budging. They are not shifting. Putin thinks these people are going crazy. He's mocking them. So however bad this is, it's still something, I guess. Okay, so they're married to God, which is pretty straight up. No, but hang on, you can't say that's homosexual. No, because God is supposed to be genderless. So when you say it's straight up homosexual, that means you think that God is male. But they're trying to come away from God being male. You see, we're trying to move away from that. Everyone has known God to be male, but now we don't want God to be male anymore. And they don't, I bet all these people, they're not going to try and say God is female. Oh, no. So they'd rather say, okay, God is genderless. Reverend, even Catholic popes used to be married. So what changed? When did that change? So Steve McRae manager, did you say it was for financial? Actually, hang on. This is something I've got no idea why. So this is going to be interesting. So why were priests why were priests not to marry? Okay, let's see. Celibacy in the Catholic Church. All right, let's see. Okay, guys, let me share this here. We'll come back to this other video. Let me share this. I don't know if you guys can see this here. Okay, so the rationale behind such strict policy is that it significantly helps the priest perform well in their religious services, while at the same time following the manner in which Jesus Christ lived his life. Moreover, the author also mentioned that although the said policy insists on helping priests focus more on ecclesiastical duties, it also enabled the church to control the wealth amassed by the clerics. Steve McRae manager, you're so right. What? Look at this. Wait, so you deny these people having a family, you deny them having sex, so you can enrich yourselves, the church. Wow. Guys, it says it also enabled the church to control the wealth amassed by these clerics through their various religious activities, hence contributing to the growing power of the institution. Okay, first, many believe celibacy was not required of the apostles. Peter himself had a wife at some point whose mother Jesus healed of a high fever. Peter and other apostles were accompanied by their wives. However, on the basis, especially, others think that the apostles left their wives. Okay? They left their wives to follow that clown. Anyway, sorry. Okay, let me be respectful. To follow that guy. I get why Jesus wouldn't have had a wife or have sex. 33 years, it's not worth it. Do what you have to do and bugger off, right? I understand that. But why deny others? Why? I mean, Jesus goes about saying, "Oh, you, everything you're doing, pick up your and follow me. You follow me. He just expected them to drop everything and follow him. He had no job, had no way of taking care of these grown men, had no means of taking care of them. The ones that had jobs, fishermen, and what, just leave everything and follow me. Let's go and wander the desert together. And we now depend on the women to look after us. See why the more I look into the whole Jesus narrative, the Jesus story, no, that's plus that person, Jesus, it's a detriment to society, in my opinion. It promotes laziness. How can you have a book that says if you don't work, you must not eat? Then your savior comes along and doesn't bother to work. But he ate, right? Anyway, never mind. Never mind. Let's see. What are you guys saying? Guys, it's funny, isn't it? He was married to Mary Magdalene, right? We know this because he disappeared for 3 days, and the first thing he did was go home to explain it to the missus. You know, Aaron, let me tell you why when I was a Christian, I would have considered this heresy. But now when I think about the story even further, I think, okay, there are a lot of things happening here. Mary seems to be very prominent in the Jesus story. Mary seems to be at everything. She was there when Jesus, she's the same one that was cooking. No, who was the one cooking and who was the one sitting? Someone was cooking, someone was sitting. Anyway, the same one, brother died, and Jesus said, when Mary's brother said, he referred to them as his friends, special friends. The one set of people that Jesus referred to as special friends. He goes over there. Jesus even cries. Jesus is heartbroken. Jesus even says, what was it Jesus said to Mary? Hey, Mary is even challenging Jesus. Where were you? If you were here, my brother would not. When you start to look at these stories, you think, this closeness, questionable. Something not adding up. In this modern day, we'll side eyeing them. Mary, Joseph, Mary, Jesus, wagwan. Wagwan. In 1113, church completely banned priests getting married, kept their wives, and called them house. No, please, no, don't say that now. Please don't say that. Did I just call Jesus a lazy, dirty hippie? Yes, that's what he was. Probably didn't wear any underwear. Yes. In his long flowing gown, probably had no underwear under there. Just prancing all over the place. Probably didn't have his bath. When I think of the Jesus character, I just imagine someone with broken heels. You know those people that have their heels are completely dry and broken from no care at all. You think Jesus had time for hygiene? Hey, scapegoat. Wandering the desert, they must have lots of okay, lots of weed, right? Jesus wasn't dating Mary. He was also saying that young man fled naked when Jesus was there. What young man? What are you on about? What young man that fled Jesus had no time for marriage. He got around. What young man? Oh, jeez. What are you talking about? When priests died, the families got the inheritance. Okay, so when the priest died, the family got the inheritance. But this is absolutely crazy, in my opinion. And you know something? These are the things that need to be challenged. Why are there still priests till this present day? The church has amassed enough to take care of itself. It doesn't need any more collection of priests' income. And this is why, for me, religion is toxic. Religion doesn't change. Religion, it struggles to change. Someone said something which I found quite profound. They were trying to, the difference between religion and science. Religion is in the business of proving itself right. Science is in the business of proving itself wrong. Religion says, no, we'll find everything to prove ourselves right, even though all evidence proves them wrong. It's time for change. Look at this. These people were being denied because of people like Jesus and Paul. Never mind Paul telling the people, it is better for you to be single. That's the preferred scenario for you if you're going to serve God wholeheartedly. But if you must marry, marry. What? Who are you? 1 minute you're trying to kill the Christians. Next minute you're the spokesperson for Christianity. What, the Christians in those days, did they not think? Did they not reason? How can Paul 1 minute be trying to kill us, and the next minute he is now our spokesperson? They say, show me. When someone shows you who they are, believe them the first time. But those Christians back in those days, they didn't learn. They didn't learn. 1 minute, this guy is on his way to kill you, and next minute, you all just put him as your leader. All right. Okay, let's finish this video. The video is nearly done. Oh, did I? Oh, sugar. I thought I was sharing this.
They've misinterpreted the Bible.
Sorry.
So it's no use apologizing for hurting people and discriminating against people when you are still hurting them and discriminating against them.
Thank you.
So the fight continues.
The Church of England will now give blessings to same-sex marriages. This comes after an 8-hour debate over 2 days. The vote was 251 in favour to 181 against, with many of the bishops advocating for equality for LGBTQ plus Christians, and with accusations to traditional Christians that they've misinterpreted the Bible.
In the Church of England have asked for gender-neutral pronouns to be used to describe God instead of he. This is obviously going to cause loads of problems. Here's the thing, Christians. God is neither he nor a she, or real.
God is neither a she, a he, or real. I like that. All of this fight, all of this tussle back and forth about God's gender or no gender, it's not even real. It's not even real. People are offended on behalf of an imaginary God. They don't know what to call their imaginary friend. He, she, they, them, it. Depending on who is referring to this friend. Gosh. Jesus said, it's not what you put in your mouth, but what comes out. And that's what Christians use to dismiss all the dietary laws. In the Bible, fellow rabbis criticized Jesus for not washing his hands before eating. Jesus was a dirty so-and-so. Ugh. Steve McQueen manager, not Jesus trying to heal someone's eyes. Just think about it. He's God. All he had to do is say a word. Eyes open. He had the power to. He had the power. He had it. But no. To heal this person. Okay, guys, I'm going to be graphic and I apologize in advance, okay? What did Jesus decide to do? Jesus decided takes the biggest snot in. Spits it on the floor. Bends down. Picks up the snot that he has come out of himself. Make sure to grab some soil, some sand with his spit. Just make sure he and then uses that on someone's eyes. Dirty so-and-so. Dirty boy. Give me 1 second. My nephew's calling me. What does he want? Okay, guys. My nephew is around for the weekend. He's taking my car for a drive. He is. How old is he? $17? 16? 17? I knew that's the only reason why he wanted to come over. He's in the car right now. Gosh. These kids. Hey, Math Pig. Hello, good to see you. Thank you. Tips my hat to the Afro Atheist. More viewers than me on a Saturday Night Law. So, were you streaming? Oh, I didn't know you were streaming. I apologize. I think because Math Pig, I think because this is a subject that, this is something that a lot of people seem to be talking about these days. Maybe that's why. Sometimes I don't get many people in my stream, Mathweek. But Mathweek, did you hear about the Church of England, the God's gender, right? They're now in talks to try and have a genderless God. Well, apparently he's always been genderless. But now they're going to start referring, I don't know what they're going to start calling him in the near future, but it'll be interesting to see what they refer to God as in their prayers and in, instead of saying our Father who art in heaven, they're going to start calling it our deity who art in heaven, our person, our friend. Yeah, that's a much better option. Our friend who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. That would work. Our friend who art in heaven. Or better still, the other option is to bring, so God, they say, is genderless, but God showed up on earth as a man. So the only other option is to have God show up as a woman. So everything they did for Jesus, impregnating Mary, all of that stuff, we replicate that, but just reverse the roles. I think that would work for the Christian, for God's reputation. If he wants his reputation to still be intact, that would work. So have a female ghost come down to earth, overpower a man. You can even maybe get Laron. Laron was offering himself. Laron was offering himself for to be highly favored for the use of producing a female Messiah, right? So get this female ghost, come now, find Laron and overpower Laron, right? Just make sure Laron's nicely situated on the bed or something. I don't know. Where was Mary when she was overpowered? Was she on the bed? Was she on the where was she? I don't know. But wherever Mary was when the overpowering took place, just repeat that. Right? And then Laron will get pregnant. And listen, I know what you're going to say. You're going to say, "Oh, but Laron can't get pregnant." Listen, ghosts don't impregnate girls, but somehow Mary, did she not wind up getting pregnant? She wound up getting pregnant. So anything is possible. So Laron would suddenly develop the female, baby making anatomy. But inside there'll be a female God baby will be in there. And then Laron would give birth to God. And then her would have right? She'll go walking around, throwing over the temple, the tables in the temple, doing all of that, healing people. But she'll have 12 female disciples, right? So all of that. But I don't know about hanging her on a cross. That one is the one that may not work because in this modern day, we don't do crucifixions. So maybe put her in jail. Maybe that might work. I don't know. Something. Scapegoat is I think we're looking too deep into this. Okay, okay. This is my brain is right. Okay. Let me stop. My brain is working. It's on steroids right now. Okay. All right. Our Heavenly Father who has no penis. Let's see. Told my goddaughter, never let anyone. Oh shit. The reason her friends don't drive her car is because they can't afford it, or they means that they will not fix hers when they crash. Anyway, he's back in now. God. He's back in now. I think, okay, no, if he got her pregnant without her being aware they had sex, then I'm not taking his advice. Wait, let me read that again. If he got her pregnant without her being aware they had sex, and I'm not to love making. But Christians will have you believe that there was nothing sexual that happened between Ghost and Mary. It wasn't sexual. It was just overpowering. A ghost overpowering Mary. What does overpowering mean? To overpower someone? What does that look like? I don't know. The Holy Spirit just came all over. The Holy Spirit came all over her. Scapegoat Iscariot. I see what you did there. I see what you did there. And she got pregnant. I see what you did there. Holy Spirit came all over her. Okay. But this is the question. Scapegoat Iscariot. Whose cum was it? Was it God's or the Spirit's? Whose cum was this? Was it God or the Spirit's? Who's taking responsibility for Mary? Who is going to take responsibility? Because if Mary, so imagine this is 2023. If Mary lived in this generation as a 14-year-old, she winds up getting pregnant. The person who impregnated her would be arrested because she couldn't have given consent. Someone will have to take responsibility for that act. So who was taking responsibility for this? Scapegoat says, I'm always trying to build it. Okay, all right. Okay, overcome her resistance. Overpower equals... Wait, did you overpower consent? That I do not know. We'll have to pray. There's no praying about anything. It's all predestined anyway. It's all... Whether you pray, you don't pray, nothing. It doesn't change anything. It's going to happen anyway. So God has no time. Pray. Mary was engaged. Mary was unavailable for God. God cheated on Joseph by inserting himself inside Joseph's woman. No, think about it. Mary, just of all the women that were available then, all of them, you choose the worst possible scenario to insert yourself in. Number one, she was underage. Number two, she was unavailable. Number three, what else? Number three, her giving birth to God baby will not make him from the lineage of David. The whole idea of birthing God on earth was to prove this narrative that it was going to come from the lineage of David all the way to Joseph. But it didn't. Joseph is not the daddy. Or was not the daddy. Okay, I know. So Mary didn't fit They say she was highly favored. Why? They don't tell us. What did Mary do to be highly favored? What could a 14-year-old do that would make her highly favored? What did she do? Did she lick God's... Okay, now let me stop with my... Don't say the next thing you're about to say. Leave it. She didn't get a good sex with children. She's letting the psychologist in her get the best of her. She's just soaking... Wait. Oh, come on. Come on, scapegoat. She's letting the psychologist in her get the best of her. What has a psychologist got to do with this now, scapegoats? How does a psychologist fit in this comment? I don't know. Everything else I understand. It all works. But why is a psychologist in this comment? Why? I don't understand. Letting the psychologist not get the best of her. Oh, you're talking about me. Is it me you're talking about? Or who? I'm not understanding the whole psychologist thing. Joseph was the loser in that story. The disrespect for Joseph. Joseph deserved better. They tell you that the man is the head, the man runs the ship, he is the captain, but in this particular scenario, Joseph was completely sidelined. They just couldn't care about Joseph. Who? Joseph? Who? Joseph had found himself a woman. He's agreed that we will get married in no time. But no, when it came to it, they couldn't be bothered with Joseph. They go and appear to Mary. Mary. How about that rent-a-womb services you're offering? We would like to rent your womb, but you've been highly favored. You think you can help us? We need to... God needs to come somehow. Can he come inside you? Can we use your womb for 9 months? Okay, right. Okay, yeah, go on. Be it unto me according to your word. Okay. They couldn't even go and seek Joseph's permission to make use of his property, because women were property those days. Completely just... They impregnate his woman. Now she's... Can you imagine what the conversation was like between Mary and Joseph? Just imagine what that conversation was like. Joseph, come and have a seat. I've got something to tell you. Okay? What Mary, my beautiful Mary, my one and only, my princess, my rose in the thorn of... She says, this is serious, Joseph. I am pregnant. Pregnant? How? We never had sex. Mary, stop it. You're kidding, right? You're kidding. Mary says, I'm not kidding. I am preggers. How? Okay, who done it? Who done it? Who done it? We need to find... Produce me that person. Mary says, It's not a person. It's a thing. What do you mean? It's a thing. It's a ghost. Oh, Mary, congrats. Well done. You bagged yourself a ghost. High five, Mary. Just give it to me, Mary. You done it. Well, he wasn't quite receptive to the idea of her being pregnated by a ghost. So he was planning to send her away. He goes to sleep at night, and then now the ghost and daddy, sky daddy, and everybody up there, they start scrambling. Oh, plan is our plan is about to be aborted. Joseph is about to get rid of our God baby. We better do something. God says, okay, one of you go and appear in his dream and go and talk to him in his dream. That's the only time that these God characters could come down and come and have the disrespect for Joseph. Someone said Joseph was a cuckold. Okay, so guys, this is the question, right? And I'm going to end shortly. I talk too much. Talk. It never ends. Right. So, guys, my question to you all, because you all are very clever people. I am not clever. This is the question. So, Mary was selected because she was a virgin. Well, that was one of the criteria. She had to be a virgin. Never mind, she was engaged. That didn't matter in this particular scenario. Other times, being engaged, someone's head would have been chopped off. There are laws they have laws for if you sleep with a woman who's already married to a virgin who's betrothed, you're supposed to marry her, you're supposed to do this. They've got laws for all those things. But in this particular scenario, we don't care that she's engaged. It's not even a thing. So, the question for you all in the chat, and I need me some answers, please. Okay, please follow me. Follow me on this little walk here. Okay. So, Mary was a virgin when she was impregnated by the ghost. After Mary birthed Jesus, did she still remain a virgin? So before Joseph had access to Mary, did Joseph have a virgin for a wife? Or did God take Mary's virginity? This is not going to be monetized. This channel, this stream, monetization gone because okay, so let's see. Come on, guys. Let's see what your answers are. Mary, you whore, is what Joseph says. The disrespect for Joseph. Esther went deep in that rabbit hole today. What was the topic again? I'm sorry. I'm so sorry. Okay, guys, no one's answering. Why? You people don't know the answer to this one? Should I ask it again? Okay, let me ask it again. Mary was selected because she was a virgin. That was one of the reasons why she was selected. Number one, she was a virgin. Number two, she was strategically located because they had to find this narrative of Jesus came through the loins or the lineage of David and Abraham and Jacob and Isaac and all that shenanigans, even though Joseph was not the daddy, but Mary somehow. Then they said she was highly favored, but she was a virgin. So when the baby went up into Mary, she was a virgin. When that baby came out of her, did she remain a virgin, or did God take her virginity? Did Joseph? Okay, this is something I never thought about. Guys, what do you all think? I know the story isn't true. I know the chances are this story didn't happen. But do you think that Joseph had sex with Mary when she was pregnant? What do you think? Do you think was Joseph allowed to fuck Mary when Jesus was inside her? Huh. That's interesting. Right. What do you all think? Wait. So who was the father? Wait. So who was the father? This sounds like an episode of Maury. No, Jesus took her virginity on his way out. So God took Mary's virginity. Okay. Right. Okay. It's a good question. Yes, it is a good question. Because here, this religion, what they do, they talk about the purity culture. They talk about girls remaining virgins until you're pregnant. That's the ideal. The ideal situation would be to remain a virgin until you're married. That's what God would want, right? But here we have God. God is the one taking her virginity away. So, okay, right, guys. A ghost can pass through walls. Maybe scapegoat is kind of, Joseph, I want a DNA test. What the? DNA test? After he says, no, Jesus took Mary's virginity on his way out. Okay, all right, okay. Right? Did God pay her there was the laws, right? Remember the laws? Anyone who has sex with a virgin, you've got to pay the father. All that, right? And the law was still very active at this point. It was only after Jesus' death, resurrection, that he came. Oh no, when he, I don't know what point they stopped using the law and they now moved over to grace. I don't know what point that was. But at this point, the law was still in effect. So someone had to pay 50 shekels of silver to Mary's father. Okay. Oh, first to get the pussy is the song to new lows. I must now smoke. Better question. If Jesus only had one human parent, how many chromosomes was he missing? And what kind of freak did it make? What was Jesus's DNA? What was that like? 50% Mary. And what was the other one? Did she have a C-section? No, apparently she birthed the baby in a barn somewhere. She was on her way to go do census. And baby comes and she's birthing God. I mean, just think about it. The level of disrespect in this story. No, I think one of these days we really need to sit down and dissect this story. Here you have a God. He uses Mary's rent a womb services for his pleasure, for his mission, whatever that was. So Mary was doing him a huge favor. Mary should have been accorded some respect, something. But no. God now expects this person who is doing you a huge favor to birth him in the dirtiest of places, with the pigs, with the I don't know if you guys have seen when during Christmas time, when they're showing the images of Jesus, you see Jesus looking all so nice in a little barn. They cover him up and he's, holy night. Oh, they make it look so heavenly, so divine. No, that's not the case. This young girl, for the sake of this stream, we will say she's 14 years old, right? This 14-year-old girl had to birth this baby in the dirtiest possible place. She had to birth God in the dirtiest. God could not even come and help, could not come and give her money to go and rent a. Oh, well, they said there was no room in the inn. That's what they said. Okay. But God could not even provide. Why is it that with God, all things are possible? But in this particular story, we can't provide a place for God baby to be born. Anyway, guys, the Jesus story fails at every single turn. The Jesus story should not be celebrated. The Jesus story is the worst possible savior story ever. All of this because two people ate a fruit. We violate people. We take away people's free will because two people ate a fruit. Look at Joseph. Look, Joseph didn't deserve any of that. Two people ate a fruit. That's how Joseph found himself in that position. You come in his dream and tell him, Joseph, you have to be the step daddy. You've got no choice. We won't give you any money to take care of this baby. We won't. But can you imagine every day Joseph looking at this boy? Looks nothing like him. Never fat. I mean, think about. Anyway, guys, I just can't do it anymore. The Jesus story does not work. It fails at every single point. It's the biggest fail. I can't worship that. Jesus loves me so much. He did all this for me. Sickening. Makes my stomach turn. Makes my stomach turn. Okay, this is so dumb. I love it. What's dumb? Half milk and half made up bullshit. It's all made up bullshit. There's no half nothing. All made up. All you could at least give Mary some money or something. I mean, then they tell you this whole big narrative. Oh, Mary was on her way to go do a census just to try and make their stupid prophecy seem like, oh, it was true. It just fails at every single point. Just fail. The person, whoever came up with this story, wasn't thinking. They didn't think it through. Maybe back in that time, it was a good story. It worked once upon a time. But now, no, don't do this. The money goes to her father. What money? What money? We didn't hear about any money. No money. Esther, it would do you good to think of the Christian religion as totally separate from the Jewish text. Christianity only claims to be a fulfillment. It is not really. But then they're all intertwined, aren't they? That's the thing. You can't do Christianity without Judaism. You can't. How do you separate the two of them? Jesus was born a Jew, lived as a Jew, and died a Jew, resurrected a Jew. So how am I going to separate? I don't know. But isn't God the Father of all of us? Paul Scatler, that's one conversation we're not going to do. Because that would just, like I said, the Jesus narrative, just every angle when you look at the Jesus thing, it's yikes. Let's not do that. Maybe he sent his son to the cross. Oh, you guys. But Jesus was 33 years old. He was late. It was too late in paying child support. Hey, look out for number one. Hey. No, he missed all the payments. No, he was no. He just don't ask questions. You just have to. Oh yes, thank you. Steve McRae, manager, thank you. That's the point where I got to end this. Have faith. Faith. With faith, the Jesus story works. With faith, it all makes sense. It's logical with faith. Fantastic. It's the most beautiful story ever told. That a virgin was impregnated by a ghost. Beautiful. That's never heard anything more beautiful than that. It's perfect. By faith. It was a good story for the ignorance at the time. Yes, it was. It was. Hey, be calm. Hello. If you check Mark 6:3, they called Jesus son of Mary and not son of Joseph, which is not typical throughout the Bible. Yeah, but he was the son of Mary. What's wrong with that? There's nothing wrong with Mary. Mary has some stake in Jesus now. 50% of Jesus came from Mary. So, yeah, I think that's right to call him the son of Mary. Yeah. Or am I missing something? Am I missing something? He is the son of Mary. So, what's wrong with that? Remember that Christianity is the claim, not the reality. Jews who know the text think Christianity sounds. Oh, I was speaking to some Jews recently. Oh my goodness. Oh. When you go and look at the story, just recently, I went back and was looking at why exactly would the Jews, because the narrative in some Christian denomination, maybe not all, is that the Jews killed Jesus. The Jews killed Jesus. That's what they will want you to believe. Okay. I go back and look. So, what was it exactly that Jesus did that called for his death? What did Jesus do? All the guy did was claim to be God. Okay. So, What was wrong with that? Why did he? When you go back and look, there's just no. The reasons for killing Jesus are not very convincing. You can, for me, guys, this is my opinion, because don't forget, I'm coming from a layman's perspective. I'm coming from someone who's just reading the text, right? So I haven't done any formal theological work or anything. I know I was hoping to go to theology school. I was working my way through it. I'd done 2 years of studies, and I was on my way when it all fell apart. I don't understand. Well, I lost my train of thought. I've lost my train of thought. Talk too much. After, don't blame it on the chat. I blame the chat. Paul Scatler. Today it's Aaron Reese. Aaron Reese. It's Aaron Reese. It's always Steve McRae manager. Always. Paul Scatler. It's all of you. All of you. My goodness. Superstitious good-headers would have been freaked out by a new super. I thought you were going to say super chat. They would have been freaked out by a new super bright star in the sky. These people think we're dumb. They just think, oh, an angel appeared to Mary and said, Mary. If an angel appeared to Mary, she would have been at the other end of the place before the angel could have had he got a word out. Listen. Okay. This is the African in me now, right? The African in me. If I go to sleep, wake up, and find myself pregnant, and I know that I've not had sex, that baby is coming out. I don't care what you say. No. Somebody has to explain how he got there. I mean, think about it. There's some of you, okay, be calm, right? Be calm. Mystique. Miss Masani, hello. She contributed way more than 50. Miss Masani, that brings me to a particular story in the Bible, right? Do you remember the story where Jesus, they lost Jesus. He was at the temple, and they went they couldn't find him. So they went looking everywhere, right? Never mind, Jesus was with he was showing himself with the priests and the people in the temple, trying to prove a point. I wonder what he was trying to do there. 12-year-old, right? Finally, they go looking for him. They find him. Jesus, we've been looking for you. Who are you again? Your father and your mother. No? The disrespect from Jesus. If he was in Africa, he would have gotten a slap on his face for that whatever statement. I don't know. What did Jesus say to them? He said, anyone who is my mother and father, he completely just denied the person of Mary, the one whose womb has been violated to bring this person here. Now you disrespect the no. Okay. A PS5. What do you need a PS5 for? I mean, how have a PS5 got to this conversation? The point is, they knew that Joseph isn't his dad, and this was a way to call her a whore. It just doesn't work. People got killed for petty things. Yeah. So let me understand something, right? Let me understand this. When Joseph found his woman pregnant, did he keep it a secret? Did Joseph had to keep that story a secret between him and Mary? I'm going somewhere with this. If not, he would have had to tell everyone that, look, I didn't have sex with this woman, but she is pregnant. So it's either he told them or he kept it a secret, right? It's one of those. He either told them, kept it a secret. So if he kept it a secret, at what point did we agree that that secret has to be brought open? And now the whole world has to be told that Mary was violated by a ghost. At what point did we work out that the secret has to be revealed? Or did God tell Joseph that you can tell everybody, you don't have to keep it a secret? I don't think that would have worked. Someone would have lynched Mary if they knew that Mary was pregnant. Who would believe that? So I'm sure Joseph would have had to pretend that he was daddy to cover the shame, so Mary don't get lynched. So, but at what point did that secret now become open to the rest of the world? Who signed off on this story? Anyway, I just... Three wise men followed the star. God, after Joseph's premarital sex with Mary, don't worry, I'll take the responsibility. Got an idea for a nice scam after all. Oh, God. MOTG meaning, hey, says, instead of studying theology, why not study philosophy and history? I think those would do better. Well, that was back in them days. I mean, yeah, if I have the opportunity to study philosophy, yes, I would. Yeah, that would be something I'd be interested in. But right now, no, I can't do any more studies. I'm too occupied right now. I believe, according to the story, it should have been kept a secret. Okay, scapegoat Iscariot. That's what I would want to assume, that story would have been kept a secret. When did that secret finally become a free for all, become public knowledge? When? Because if you're going to keep this as a secret, then keep it a secret all the way. Nobody needs to know, right? That Jesus was born through such questionable circumstances, right? Just keep it all secret. But why then is that secret being brought out to the forefront? Unless it's made up. Unless it's made up. There's a narrative, there's an agenda. If you've kept it secret, why tell anyone? Right? That make no sense. I'll let your baby I'll be your baby daddy. God, you can't keep it a secret. I'm pretty sure they would have killed Jesus because he was doing magic and these people were stupid. You know what? We're going to look into that Jesus character. That guy, he was the worst, man. He was the worst. Jesus was the worst. That guy was the worst. Just go back, go and read some of the stories. Jesus will be asked a very simple yes or no question. Jesus, are you the son of, just example, simple yes or no question. You see, Jesus will now come. You say, my father, if you had known me, if you knew my father, you will know me. If you don't know me, you don't know my father. And we would have, it would have been better for you to, he'll now turn the whole yes or no question. He'll now give you a nice little parable. Jesus, we don't understand what you're saying. Please, can you help us? Can you just say, the ones who are the ones that know me will understand the parable, but the ones who are not called, who are not for me, they will just. Jesus was a nitwit. He was a nonce. That guy. Okay. Jesus was the guy was. I mean, look at that woman that came to Jesus. Jesus ignored her, just like she wasn't there. It's like, I don't care about you. Who are you? The disciples had to go and say, Jesus, please, she's bothering us. You please now sort her out for us. Finally, Jesus now go and attend to her. And the lady says, oh, Soren, hey Soren, good to see you. And say, oh God, I've lost my train of thought. What was I talking about? So Jesus, he looks at the woman and says, the woman says, please help me. My child is, please, Jesus, please, I beg you, help. Jesus said, well, no. I did not come for people like yourself. I was only sent to the lost sheep of the house of Israel. I'm not for you. Man says, please, Jesus. Say, oh, I can't give the food for my special people to the dogs. Hey. If that was me, Jesus would have received a good decking at that moment. I would have decked. I would set my fingers, my hand straight, well, like this, and whacked him. Fuck you think you are? Anyway, the woman wanted something, so maybe she didn't mind being disrespected like that. And Jesus says to her, oh, I didn't come for people like yourself. The woman says, even dogs eat crumbs. They eat from their masters, from their table. Jesus said, woman, you have backed me into a corner. Got no choice. Finally, he says, okay, woman, your faith did it for you. Left to me, I wasn't going to do it for you. Left to me, you're bothering me too much. You chose to come on my worst day. I woke up on the wrong side of the bed in the desert today. But because you backed me into a corner, I'll just grant you. Oh, no. Guys, Jesus, that guy, sorry, it just doesn't work for me. I'm not being anti-Semitic when I'm saying this. I'm talking about ancient Israel writings. Israel being the chosen people is blatant racism. Now, that's one conversation that needs to be had. When I say needs to be had, I mean to dissect the story, not to see. You can look at the claims of the Bible without having to refer to the modern day Jews. That's nothing to do with them. I know they have a link to, but is this what you call an internal critique? You can do that without being anti-Semite. I think it's possible, but you just have to be careful because these conversations can easily lead to people being cancelled. Got to be very sensitive. See? Otherwise, you'll be accused of, anti-Semitism. But look at the story in the book. You see, this God has selected people for himself. I have a problem with the monarchy here in the UK. I do not agree with the whole monarchy system. The idea that some people are blue blood, that's what they call them, the blue blood. Because you're born into this family, so that makes you special somehow. So when King Charles, when he is when in May, come 6th of May, when that happens, he becomes above the law. King Charles would be above the law. Well, I was reading something. I'm not sure exactly what happens, but he cannot be prosecuted for anything. He will just be given a pass. Why? Because he was born. Not that he has earned that. He hasn't earned it. There's nothing Charles has done to earn. In fact, if we're going by character, if King Charles was to be, nominated for or elected or for that spot, didn't stand a chance. But because blue blood, I have a problem with all of that. And so, never mind. Anyway, guys, I think I've done enough talking for tonight. Oh, it's always fun, man. Jesus has no clue who he is. He's constantly asking all. Jesus doesn't know who he is. Yeah, he can. Who do people? Can you imagine, Jesus? Who do people say I am? What the? But you are God. You search the hearts of men. You know what they're thinking. You know them before you even form them. But now you don't even know what they say. I don't get it. It doesn't work. It's crazy. It's crazy. Anyway, guys, I've done enough talking for today. In fact, please, guys, don't forget to like the stream if you would like to make a contribution to the channel of some sort. Yes, consider that all the buttons are there: super chats, the super stickers. I've also got my what do you call this now? My PayPal and Cash App details. If that's something you're feeling like doing, go ahead. It helps. It boosts the morale, so that I know that yes, I'm doing the right thing around here. Do I have a daughter? No, I don't. I do not have a daughter. I have nieces, but I don't have a daughter. I was not given a daughter by the gods of daughters. And I kind of wish I had a daughter. I kind of wish I had a daughter. That'd be nice to be able to, we can have girly things together, go do makeup together, go shopping together. That'd be nice, but no daughters for me. But it's all right. I probably would have grandkids, like granddaughters. So watch this space. Mark is giving Paul precedence over the apostles, so that's why Mark is constantly calling the apostles quite stupid. Okay, I didn't understand that. You were on the wrong position. What wrong position? What are you talking about? I was on the wrong position. What wrong position? It makes sense now. That makes sense. I think that makes sense. Okay. Okay. Are you trying to say when you say you're in the wrong position, does that mean that I took the wrong sexual position? Because some people reckon that you can, if you want to have a boy, there's a way to do there's a way to lie when you're having sex, and you can birth a girl or a boy or whatever. I don't know how that works, but yeah. Oh, I got it. Yes, I got. Okay, right. Paul Scatler, thank you so much. You're always such a delight. Hang on, Paul Scatler, is that €1.99? Ah, looks like €1.99. Okay, I never noticed that. €1.99. Thank you. So can the royals do whatever they want? No, the royals cannot do whatever they want. Yeah, they can try. Prince Andrew, that one. On a good day, Prince Andrew, it's going to be a different story right now. But because he's Prince Andrew. Okay. Soren, thank you. Wonderful to see you too. All right, guys, please don't forget to like the stream. This has been one of the good ones, yes. And watch this space. The Church of England are trying to figure out a name for God. So instead of saying Our Father who art in heaven, I don't know what is going to be in the near future. And when they finally made the decisions, I will come back with a part 2 for this one. Instead of saying Our Father, they might say Our deity, our dictator who art in heaven, our imaginary friend who art in heaven, hallowed be thy name. Our trans friend who art in heaven. It could be anything. So watch this space, and I will be sure to come and tell you our pussycat. Not our pussycat that is in heaven. Oh my gosh. Our dog who art in heaven. Hallowed be thy name, thy kingdom come. All right, guys. Thank you all so much, and I will see you all tomorrow. Good night, everyone. Good night.